So when we looked in this open space of being, we dropped down out of any idea of a mental realm. And we're just in this undeniable awareness that we all are. We're just in this open space of being. And when we looked in our direct experience, which is prior to labeling, language, concepts and ideas, we had a little look. We couldn't find a boundary. We looked for the inside and the outside of the body. Couldn't find a boundary. And we feel out, we can't find where we end. So are we, in fact, boundless in personal awareness that has the capacity to be able to shape and pattern and have an experience of separation, but never ever becomes separate, because this is your true nature, this space of being, this peace that's felt in the boundary is what we're all looking for, no matter how quiet it is. And the mind may offer up, well, this can't be it, it's boring. Or where's the bliss? Or there again, there are just invitations to, I'm not there yet. This can't be it. They're just suggestions that we can personalize and have an experience of. Or we can just carry on looking at actually what is here. And we don't pick up, when we don't personalize these suggestions, and we just stay with what's here. So it doesn't matter, there can be thoughts arising, sounds, sensations, they're all equal. They come and go. So they can't be as if they come and go. You know, can we find a mind here? When you look, is there actually a mind when we look in our direct experience? Or do we have to create it to experience it? You know, there's something that has been here all through your life. It's this, the never changing. And this is a continual, timeless. So it's a timeless space. Time only comes into be if we create this idea of a separate person, a me, that has experiences that we can then sort of map a life. And that's okay. All of those things have been experiences that have happened. They didn't happen to they happened to this ocean of being. It didn't happen to an individual. This is never ever personal. It's always impersonal. It's just when you were a child, you would have been invited into the idea of a me through a name. So you would have been told this impersonal awareness is David, because that's all you knew. You were just naked awareness. And you would have been repeatedly told your name, a name, and characteristics, whatever they were, whatever invitations you were given to experience. So with that name and with those experiences, we get invited into this dualistic idea of separate selves. But actually, there's only this impersonal awareness playing all of the roles. It never becomes those separate people. It's just that this impersonal boundless ocean of being gets to experience. Now, this seems to be that there's sort of had enough of experiencing separation. That it's time to have a little look, or time, but to have a little look at what's actually here in any moment. There's always just this ocean of being when we look, even when we're really busy, even when we've got a busy mind, we can turn and look. And it's this turn, this looking, rather than projecting out. It's this turning in to look at what's actually here. But the self gets to experience itself in this ocean of being and bliss, joy and love and wisdom. The wisdom isn't owned by anybody. It's just inherent. It's just spontaneously arising when needed from this unlimited wisdom, unlimited joy. So when there's an experience of limiting this, that's when we feel like we've lost something, because we're having an experience of limiting this. We never, ever become the limited version. It's just an experience that this can have. So the truth of our being is that we are just this open and personal. It's not personal, it's impersonal. It just got labeled and believed in. That this, your every day, what's looking through your eyes, every day, looking through my eyes, is impersonal awareness. And if we look at who am I am. When we look at the space that's revealed when we say I am, without picking up the mind describing a story of who we are, what's actually there when we ask the question, who am I? I am. And this is a portal to the attribute prior to manifestation. This no thing. There's nothing to get. Not a thing. It just is. Just this. You feel like there's a melting away or a floating in space. When we go to what's revealed when we ask the question, who am I? I am. Very subtle, very intimate. And it's so normal we miss it. And this is untouched by the ever-changing. There might be thoughts, feelings and sounds in this ocean of being, but they're all equal They're all just simply arising and falling. Invitations to experience, to personalize them. It's just neutral space of being. So there may be invitations of this can't be it. This is just neutral, effortless. Just a sense of being here now, this ever present moment. Well, earlier there was a thought, there's a sticking point. Can we find the one that would say there's a sticking point here in this ocean of being? We can just relax here. We don't have to engage that idea of a separate person. Rev them up, plug them in to the energetic game of separation. And just rest here and see that life is just unfolding effortlessly anyway. It was only an overlay that was claiming everything. It's only an idea of you that was claiming getting up in the morning, claiming going in the shower. It's just some sort of filtering of this through which this experienced. This isness, it just is. It's not a thing. It's nothing we can get. It's what we already are. And it's to attend to this, for our attention to be pulled, for the self to be experiencing the self unfiltered. It's a joy of just being. So that's why they say nobody wakes up, because there isn't a one that wakes up, because there was always just this. pure awareness, pure potential, just effortless, being here all the time. So there can be an experience of waking up, but there is actually nobody who wakes up. It's just a dropping away of the idea of a self, an individual. It was only ever an experience. It wasn't actually an experiencer. It was just this ocean of being. And so it can be a little bit like you unplug a fan, it's still spinning. It can be a habit to feel like, as an individual experience, when we personalize thoughts through habit. So it's to keep looking whenever, if ever that happens. It's not to be annoyed, because that would be another invitation to separation. To see, hang on, what's true here? There's only this. I saw that. I sat there. I couldn't find a mind. I couldn't find a boundary of a body. Thoughts rise and fall. Sounds, feelings, emotions. We're not trying to get rid of them. We're just allowing them to come to a natural resting point. It just won't be delivered anymore when we don't pay them any attention. It might be like an old record in the distance, playing 5 rooms away. We're just not interested in the invitations to experience. We've done enough. Where is this me here? When we look in your direct experience, can you find a me? Where is this me? And when you meet an expression of this, so this can shape and pattern into seemingly others. But if you meet them from this open space, so you don't contract and create subject-object, if you just remain as the open space for them to dance, there's no opposition. There's no separation. You just allow them to be the expression that they're choosing, whether it's to be in unity consciousness or whether it's to be deep in separation. You don't enter into the dance. You just are the space for them to dance. And everything that appears, trees, birds, cars, everything is appearing in you. You're the ocean of being. You don't have a boundary. As far as the eye can see is you. Then all the shapes and patterns that rise up are you, not an individual you, this universal, impersonal awareness. aware of itself shaping, patterning, and forming into this great display. It's all appearing in you. There is no separation. It's just an experience, this ocean. Mhm. So if you open your eyes gently, so there's no coming back to anything. Just remember that. We're not leaving anything when we open our eyes. This is an ocean of being. And in that ocean of being, you'll have some sort of gadget like a computer, and you'll have a desk or a table or whatever appearing in the ocean of being that you are. There'll be an image on the computer of a me and you, but actually, we are both the same thing appearing in this ocean of being. We're just shaping and patterning into two, with a one ocean appearing as two, just like two waves on an ocean. They never become the waves, they just have an experience of waves. So we can just experience having these vehicles. We're not actually, that's a secondary thing. Our primary thing is that we are just this ocean of being, impersonal awareness, effortless, boundless, timeless, ever present being. We can have the feeling of embodying a vehicle and experience this wisdom and bliss, this joy for just being, for just experiencing life unfiltered in its finest, closest expression of self, the absolute, attributeless self. So how's that? Everybody left there.
It looks like a back and forth,
Mm-hmm.
but now I see the back and forth.
Right.
I see what the back was going back to.
Mm. It was never leaving. It was just having an experience of leaving.
Like I said I had the insight the other day that was tripping me up. So even there, something was still claiming
Yeah.
that habit.
Mm.
And then like I guess pretty much all of when you were talking, there's the commentator here, but now I see that I can seeing that commentator as just the same as a sound,
It's
a
neutral,
sensation,
equal and neutral. Yeah.
because yeah, if that is recognized as nothing more than any other sound or sensation, then that's where the shift over, like what, yeah, you sense what is not that, what is not any of that, where that viewing,
Anything that's coming and going is not you.
yeah,
Thoughts, sounds, they're all neutral, equal, and you're not doing them. They're just arising and falling. There's nobody doing them. They're just invitations to experience. What we're going to do is we're going to try and use impersonal language just so we don't get tripped up. There is an awareness of instead of I. It just can be helpful at this point. So whenever you speak, it's just like there's an awareness of, because it's showing you you're just this open space and there's an awareness of things. So you can still talk about those things, but it's from awareness, not from I, because there might still be a stickiness around this idea of an I. Because the I is universal I, really. So there is an awareness of.
there's an awareness now of what seemed to be a palpable sense of I. Like that,
A contraction or of a separate I, of a.
yeah, the habitual assumption
Yeah.
of that, just that internal feeling, that state, that familiar place of intellectual movement, an intellectual movement to grasp and make sense
Mm,
and form
yeah.
of a view, a point of view.
Form, out of nothing, forms, is personalized, and then is a position. There's a point of view, creates a point of view, a separate point of view.
A thing, that
Yeah.
internal thing, what seemed to be the background presence that was taken to be a background presence. The I,
Ah,
yeah,
yeah. It was mistaken. It was impersonal. It was just being overlaid with the sense of an I.
yeah. It's like a costume that's stepped into very quickly, like
Yeah,
put on instantaneously,
yeah.
and the act of putting it on is intellectual grasping and trying to
That sense of got to get. So all
familiar,
of that
yeah,
separation, yeah, is a got to get. I know, um, it's a grasping feeling of getting something. Because because I've picked up separation, now I've got to find something to make me whole and complete. Because what it's doing is limiting this, which is boundless, having an experience limitation. So immediately it feels like it's missing something. I've got to gather everything I can to make this experience okay.
to be concrete and to be me.
Fix it, fix it, fix, put a frame over it. This is who I am. And then I'm going to fix that because I don't like it. And I'm going to push that away. I'm going to pull that. I'm going to grasp that. It's contrasting and comparing. I want that. I don't want that.
And
I need to,
once I know who I am, I can know who you are. And
yeah.
then
Once I've got and then I can work out where you're safe or not. Yeah, because it's that separation. So control, approval, security. I'm separate and I need to work out. I need to evaluate survival mode. So now we're going to turn back in because it's so easy to get pulled into this. We're talking about it. This is all the dream, really. This is all the experiences that we can have. So we turn back and we pay as much attention to the space as we do to the ever changing. So we don't get pulled in. We never leave this, but there is a limitation of this focus narrowing to have the mental activity. If it's open, then there just is intuition, just bubbles up. There is intuition here. There's not somebody who's clever. There's just knowing. No, you don't know how you knew it. It's just there because there is no knower. There's just knowing. There is no experiencer. There's just experiences. There is no thing until we make a thing to be against another thing.
Yeah, it doesn't need any costume at all.
Could be naked awareness. Comes to the point that the game's up. You're like, hang on a minute. Have I been creating this? Been creating that all along.
Yeah, and I've had that notion that there comes a point when the game is up, but I wasn't recognizing the actual game that was being played.
Yeah, yeah. So we were able to pull back. Not that we were ever in there, but we were able to just allow enough space to see this action, this dancing, this potential to experience in a thought, a feeling, or emotion. And the attention locks in, says, I'll take that ticket, I'll have that invitation. I'm not there yet. Off I go to try and find myself. And all along, it's this playing the role of the character trying to find themselves. The actor, there is only one source for all the roles out there. Impersonal. Playing all the persons. And then there'll be invitations to, well, hang on, how do I work this out? I'll be very careful with that. Who's working it all out? Who wants to know? It's always to come back to, it's okay not knowing, because what you need to know is already there. You don't have to work anything out. I'm not working anything out here on how to help you. I'm just talking. It's just coming out. There's no idea of a Colette that's got knowledge that can help you. Just open space here talking. There is no me and you. There's just open space, and there is the that we are is shaping and patterning. To have a seemingly a conversation of two people, but can you see, if you look out, we're bound. We're not. We don't have a boundary. So actually, there's no separation here. There's two things appearing in the ocean of awareness.
So there's this sense that I need to take this somewhere now. I need to go and see what happens.
Yeah, so that's an invitation. I need to. See? So sneaky. There'll be the invitation. How do I stay here? That'll be another one. Did I really get it? That'll be another one. Can it be that easy? That'll be another one. It's a bit boring. Should we go and experience? It'll want to go and experience because the mind is a tool of contrasting and comparing. Sort it later. This ever-present moment, it uses it as a means to an end. It just makes it into this continual wheel of gotta do, gotta do, gotta do, gotta do. Yeah, that's how it works, because it wants to. But what's happened is we've allowed it to be center stage instead of just a tool. It's okay if we need to compare one flight price to another. That's fine. We don't need it dictating our entire life. This, we don't need it as an experiencing tool. It's far too dense and fickle, because it'll tell you you're great and it'll tell you you're rubbish. It'll say that person's not very nice, that one's nice. Oh, that one's better. Oh, they're better than you. Oh, it's just gonna compare the whole world. It's gonna judge everybody. And it's going to tell you you're better or worse.
So there's also now like a sense that this is going to slip.
Yeah. So that's an invitation again. Brilliant. So there's an awareness of never thought this is going to slip. How can you leave this? Let's just look at it. It's who you are. How can you leave it? There will be potentially an experience of leaving it, but you can't leave it. So when you do, if you do have an experience, if you do have an invitation, you can just go, hang on a minute here, who left? It's still here. What was that? You know, if you didn't realize when you were in the experience, oh, there was no me there. There was just this experiencing. There's not two places. I got stuck on this for a while. So there's this true nature, and then you think, oh, the false self. There is no false self.
Yeah, the slip
No
would be
ego.
the slip would be the same as any other sound or sensation.
Yes, it's just an invitation to experience. Yeah, so if it's of something that's been playing out,
Yeah.
because this, your impersonal awareness, yeah, impersonal awareness had an experience as a child, it was only ever impersonal, of being told you're naughty or you're stupid or you're whatever it was. And then because you had that experience and you identified as a me with that experience, that becomes in your timeline. That's a story that I bring to this ever fresh present moment. This moment is completely crystal clear now where we are. It's just so bright and so shiny, unfiltered, ever present now. And it's still now, and it's still now. It's forever now. Yeah. The only way we can experience anything else is if the mind, we allow an idea of a mind to form, and we either project, we allow that invitations to project to a future. What if I lose it? What if I, this eye is already now trying to be formed. What if I lose it? So projection to the future, this crystal clear moment, still here. And then it can also bring the past forward. Yeah, it can go, there can be the invitation to remember when you were told this, there'll be some charged thought that you were told you were stupid or whatever it was. And that's just as a potential. All it's doing is floating like a cloud in this ocean of an awareness. But if you pick it up, you're going to a past idea of a self that was only ever this experiencing. Can you see it's only ever been this? Impersonal awareness experiencing, because that's what it can do. It can shape and pattern into an idea of a self and have an idea of an experience. But it never ever becomes that. It's just the way that life can dance. It's formless, appearing as form. Emptiness, no thing, having an experience, because it's just intelligence. It's pure intelligence that can just shape and pattern and form and create this wonderful display. This display is in you. You're not looking at the display, it's appearing in you because you're boundless, formless. You're as far as the eye can see. Oh, so you're everything in the room, everything appearing in the room. There's no separation. And there's not, this can be clearer and clearer, not necessarily all at once. So the mind will invite, well, where I am still getting separation. You notice that? I'm still getting separation. It's just an invitation. Just like if it said, I'm a wardrobe, you would not believe it, would you? You'd go, I'm not having that experience. I'm not a wardrobe. I'm not falling for that one. But if it says, are you sure you can't do it without Colette? Or I don't know, I'd have to imagine, I can't even use my mind to create that. It's just, you know what I mean? I stumble sometimes. I have to create a mind to try and imagine what you might imagine. Can you see what I mean? I'm too far down the line. I can't be bothered.
Yeah, I could say I get it or I don't get it. And that's
Yeah.
already back in the costume or
Yeah.
that's
And
already
then
accepted the
this is
invitation.
and this is a very, very common one. Damn, I picked up another invitation. Who's saying that? Who's telling yourself off? That is the another invitation. So sneaky. Because who picked up an invitation? There isn't anybody. It's just the base shaping and patterning. So we don't deny experiences. We don't deny that things have happened. But it only ever happened to impersonal awareness. It was just an invitation to dance. There was a dance, but there was no dancer. It was just dancing. Are there any invitations? Because we can chop them off if there are.
They can't stick right now.
So funny. It's almost like they
Yeah,
go.
but then is it does that mean they could stick in the future when I'm
Ah, that's an invitation. Yeah. That was a sneaky one. A nice try. Nice try. Good. Yeah. And so you can say if thoughts are forming, there's an awareness of thoughts. There is an awareness of thoughts. There's just an awareness of thoughts. Every time they dance, there's an awareness of thoughts. Just like sounds.
here's an invitation. When I see when I engage with a friend or my family, that's going to be an invitation.
Okay, so we've got an I in there. So let's just unpick that one. So there's an awareness of the thought. What happens when I interact with others? So even that is an interesting thing, because there are no others, because they are also this open space of awareness, shaping and patterning and having an experience. There is only one ocean. There's many waves. But the source of those waves is this one ocean, impersonal awareness. So they may act as if they've picked up separation and they're playing it out. And I think I said it in the video, hopefully, when you look back. The thing that I've really noticed recently is that if you remain this space for them to appear, you just see that you are the space for them to experience. So you remain as the space while they're dancing. There is no tango happening because you're the space for them to arise. There's just this ground of being. You're this open space and they are dancing no matter what they're doing. You are untouched because you're impersonal awareness. This open space, formless.
So a question is, I wonder if like a red flag or an alert is anticipation.
So there can be a contraction. That's a if I'm on the right path to what you're talking about. So there's this open space of awareness. So we've looked at thoughts. There can also be a contraction. Somebody's doing something you don't like. There's a contraction. That's physical realm. So we looked at the mental realm. There's different modes of experiencing. There's the physical realm. So somebody's doing something you don't like. There's a contraction. It's to see, there's an awareness of a contraction. And these contractions, what's happened for me is they just get less and less and less. And it's just that idea of something forming, a separate me against you forms. And you just see it and it dissipates. You meet it from this space. So what happened is it just got less and less until I was noticing just a squeeze. It's like, oh, so somebody would say something I know I would be triggered by before, and there'd be, what do I do about this? About open focus, but all that backward movements, quick. There's a invitation here. It just got less and less and less the more you just witness it. until they say something you would have reacted before, and you're like, oh my God, it doesn't happen anymore. I don't contract. There's no contraction. There's no opposition. And then there might be an emotion come through. There might be anger, or there might be sadness. A couple of times, about 3 times now, I've noticed there's been this very flat feeling. And it's very different to, this, I would say it's a quiet joy that builds. People, if we talk about bliss, everybody's looking for this, you can't walk, you're so in love type of feeling. We've got to be very careful how the mind wants to look for things that are made up. So this uncaused joy and happiness can just be that sense of peace and ease. It doesn't have to be. But the more we experience it, the more chance then to let it flower. And it unveils itself to you more and more. But it's not like something you've got to grasp. You're not looking for, you're already whole. So you don't actually need the perfume, already the flower. But actually, why not just be and enjoy that loving to be? So that's the natural sense. So, but there may be an invitation, there may be a contraction, a thought form, because sometimes they come in all 3, there'll be the thought, there'll be the contraction, there'll be the emotion. So all at 3. And so it's just to remain, just to always remind yourself that you're actually, these are all invitations to experience. And the emotion tends to just blow through. It just is, if there's anger, you go, oh, look at that. It just goes through, a little bit like kids. They haven't got that contracted sense of self yet. So somebody will take something, they stamp their feet, and then they're playing with their friend again. Okay, so we're over that, are we? Okay. Whereas an adult still chewing on it 3 weeks later.
Yeah.
Because we've contracted around it. We've got a sense of self. They did that to me. I'm a victim. Whereas a child's just, what, who? Just in the moment. Whereas the mind is, wants to project to a future, wants to drag the past to this present moment, because it's got nothing to do in the present. The mind's got nothing to do. So what it does is it says, what's next? What's next? What's next? Because it wants to, and let's just remember that this is just a tool of experience. It's not actually, when we look, we can't find it. We've got to create it. But through habit, it's created. So it will potentially offer these invitations. The wheel is still spinning for a little while, or the fan is still going. So it's just to see, it's just be more interested in the never changing, and to see through this, what you're not, this ever changing, these invitations to separation, these emotions, and and there will just be some that are just slightly more charged than others, because you've been believing them for a long time. There's been the experience of them for a long time. There's actually no I believing them. There's just been the experience. There's just been these invitations. And the same, what if we keep choosing a bit like an algorithm, if that becomes our groove, that becomes our story. So we just get more of that to reinforce that story. I think that's just how you play separation. More of the same reinforces this sense of I. So then we get more of the same, reinforces this sense of story continuation that you were talking about. It's just a wheel of wind loops. But we've recognized that we're not that is, whatever that is offering you is equal to a sound of a bird.
Yeah.
And you're not doing it. It's just appearing. It's just an invitation. There's nobody thinking them. It's just an experience. And it just seems like it's time for the experiences to be over. Time for the house of cards to fall. The recognition that, oh, you mean I've only always just been this? It's so normal. It's just normal. It's always been there. It's what's been looking when you were 5, 10, 15. Same thing. Always there. Never changes, never ages. Timeless. Timeless awareness.
Thank you.
You're very welcome. Slightly stunning, isn't it? You're like stunned because the mind wants to form and you're just, hang on a minute, I'm just empty space. There's just silence here. You know, when we ask that question, who am I? I am. It's just space, silence, nothing, no thing. Only if we pick up the mind and the story. And it's just to cast off into that ocean of being, of no thing, time and time again. Just abandon yourself to the empty space of being till you just can't believe in the ever changing. You can't take it seriously when it offers you, you're not there yet. You're like, yeah, nice try, not that old one. And remember, there's not two places. It's only ever this limiting itself. So if you do have an experience, there is no person experiencing. It's just this having an experience of limitation, picking up the invitation. Never leave it. Quite funny, isn't it?
Hmm.
It's quite funny. Quite amusing when you see it.
Yeah. Nothing comes now.
No, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Nothing. Oh, it's just delicious. It's just an effort to think. You have to gear up. You have to create a mind. You just die in the space of being. Beautiful. Just this ocean dancing. And even to say, we had a call, I pointed you to your truth. It's just a dance. It's just this ocean of being playing. Because the body is the physical bodies are just going to eventually die. That's what's it's we're not because we're the ocean of being. This is a temporary vehicle we play with. No birth and death. It's just the experience of it.
That's not computing.
That's okay. Just be
Yeah.
that open space. Don't try and work it out. You've got the video, you'll be able to watch it back. It's just who would be who's born and who dies? Who would that be? This is eternal. This is timeless. It's the experience of a body aging, but there's something there that never changes. Mm. Are there any thoughts appearing?
I guess none that are accepted.
Brilliant. None that are personalized, none that are accepted like a, yeah, like there's a delivery, but no, I'm not signing for that. No, 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 no consent to that one, thanks. I've done enough roller coaster riding. Staying home. I don't need to search anymore. I'm already home. I never left.
I was going to say, we'll see.
Yeah, who's saying that? Yeah. Who sees? Hang on a minute. Just a habit. Just, just potential to dance. That's all it is. I'll stop the recording so in case I forget.